Welcome to Lions Live 365. I'm your host, Michael Ayers, and today we are doing the offensive line evaluation. I'm going to do a breakdown for the roster on every position, how they did during the season, and basically just give a grade on how I feel about them moving forward. So some people you may see like a grade that's a little bit better than how you feel like they played, because at the end of the day, I'm also kind of tacking on the potential, like moving forward. So if somebody had a rough start and then had a very good finish, their grades may be higher. If somebody is just getting older or seeing signs of decline, I may give them a lower grade just so that isn't a point of confusion. But we are going to be talking about offensive line today. I'm going to break down every unit, but this episode is offensive line. So let's get it started. First and foremost, we're gonna start with the foundation of the Lions' offensive line. Penie Sewell is the best offensive lineman on the Detroit Lions, and at the end of the day, according to PFF, according to the people giving out awards, he is the 2025 Protector of the Year. The only real, I'm not even gonna call it a flaw. The only thing that he truly can improve upon is essentially his pass blocking when facing elite defenders. He had when he's facing elite edge defenders who have quick twitch and power. Every once in a while, he can lose the chess match at that right tackle position. But as far as his ability, he says that he had a down year, but for the most part, man, he's been the main consistent. Fought through an injury for the majority of the year, and he's just been an awesome person to have next to Tate, because the Tate Sewell combo block, it feeds families. You gotta love it. Penie is only going to be 25 next year. As far as the grade, right now and moving forward, I'm gonna give him an A, because at the end of the day, I'm not sure if he hasn't improved that small flaw in his pass blocking. I don't know if he ever will. But I'm gonna give him an A for now, and he can just kind of work for that A plus moving forward. The number two person that I feel like is the most interesting offensive lineman in my opinion is Tate Ratledge. Tate Ratledge had such a rough start. There was just a huge gap in his level of understanding of the offense. Such a problem with him understanding who he was supposed to block earlier on in the season. Like it, and I could see how the Detroit Lions was just like, he is not playing center, where he has more responsibilities on identifying who to block and helping people out. And Tate really wouldn't thrive in that role. But moving on into the later parts of the season, he was so good. He wasn't allowing pressures. He was blocking at a borderline elite level. So when they had how awful he was in the beginning and how great he was at the end of the year, PFF gave him a grade of 70.3. I believe he's going to be a quality starter next year. I think Penie and Tate should be, they to me are the only guaranteed people that should be starting next year. And I truly believe that Tate has Pro Bowl potential. I do not want to change his position. It is one of those things where it's like right now he's doing well enough. Don't need to be adding on nothing extra. One of the craziest things that I've noticed while doing this roster evaluation though is that because of NIL, players are coming out of college football so much later. Like, just think, Penie Sewell was 25. Tate Ratledge is going to be 24 next season. That is crazy. Penie Sewell is on his second contract, and we talk about Tate Ratledge only going into his second year. So, with that being said, that is how I feel about Tate. Moving on, the person that I have probably the most questions about, in my opinion, is Christian Mahogany. I really question, is he good? Like, his inability to pass block is very concerning. His lack of athleticism is very concerning. The fact that he can't stay on the field is extremely concerning. For me, I like if I'm coaching, if I'm Brad Holmes, there's no way I'm looking at, you know, Christian Mahogany like, yeah, he's starting. Like, no, he needs significant amount of competition. And because he's essentially allowed 6 sacks in a season where he didn't even play the whole season. He missed games. How you allow 6 sacks at guard and you miss games? They literally had him ranked 78th out of 81 guards in sacks allowed. That's insane. Like, as far as I'm concerned, he's 25 years old. He's older. This man is literally a couple days young. I think he's 2 days younger than Penie Sewell. Like, we gotta like, he's running out of time. I'm sorry. It's so weird because I look at how the Lions treat him, like how the coaching staff treats him, and how a lot of the people in the media and a lot of fans treat Christian Mahogany, and I just don't see it. Like, why do they treat him like he's that guy? He's the guy that people blow past to sack my quarterback. And I feel some kind of way about Christian Mahogany because when he was healthy for that 1 or 2 games, he played really well, and I guess they believed in him. But like going from Kevin Zeitler to Christian Mahogany has been almost as drastic as going from Frank Ragnow to Graham. Speaking of Graham, let's go next to Graham, right? Graham is going to be 34 years old next year. He has what a average PFF grade. Essentially averages I believe 50 or 50 or 60, and he's right in the middle of that. I will give Graham a lot of credit for being versatile. He can play any of the guard spots. He can play center. He's woefully average, but he does know a lot. He's been in the league for a long time. Um, his impact on Tate Ratledge and helping him get up to speed with things is something that we shouldn't look past. And his versatility, being able to play everything on the interior, means that I don't believe that we should cut him, but I don't believe that he should start. It's one of those things how I feel about backup quarterbacks. Like Graham Glasgow is the Jameis Winston of centers. He's supposed to give you 4 or 5 games. He's going to look awesome. But once you get past that 4 or 5 games, you're going to realize this guy really isn't that good. And for Graham, I believe he is a backup, and I truly believe we need to be looking at his replacement or somebody. We need to be looking for an upgrade when it comes to Graham. And on top of that, he's 34. He might decide to retire. He might decide that enough's enough. You never really know. But when you talk about Graham Glasgow, I can't do it. I can't do it. Like we have a pretty thin offensive line group right now, and this player needs to be a backup. Then let's talk about my guy Taylor Decker. When you look at Taylor, he is so above average. He's such a solid player. It really doesn't matter what you do as far as tackle is concerned. You can get better, but you can definitely get worse. So if he doesn't retire, it would help us so much in this particular offseason to focus more on the defense that needs a lot more help. Uh, but if he does retire, that position has to be filled immediately and I mean with prejudice. Like, it needs to be filled. Uh, it's kind of crazy when I look at how teams were beating us. They were just essentially assaulting the inside of our offensive line, making the inside offensive line think. And if that didn't work, we weren't really giving up pressure. Taylor Decker and Penie Sewell did their job. And every game that Taylor Decker missed, you could see the difference in pass protection and run in the run game. Like, he's valuable. He'll be 33 or 34 next year. The retirement questions are definitely on the table. That shoulder injury lingered very long. He tried to play through it entirely too much. To me, he's a B-level player, a player that we need, and is going to be a pain in the behind to fix. My only thing is, I feel as though we shouldn't get too far ahead of ourselves trying to replace him if he does decide to come back from retirement. Like a lot of people, when I see mock drafts, it's like, yeah, let's pick a tackle in the first round, and I understand that sentiment. But if Taylor Decker comes back, please pick a defensive end. Please pick the best player available. Like I'll take BPA, best player available. If the best player available is a tackle that can play guard for a year, that's great. If the best player available is if Caleb Downs somehow falls, and then we got a safety there. We need to pick the best player available. We have too many holes that have just magically appeared because of injury or people retiring. I want the best player available that is not a offensive skill player. I don't want a running back. I don't want a receiver. I don't want a tight end. That first pick, I want offensive line if Taylor Decker retires, or defensive end. But I'll take best player available, right? So those were basically the starters from last year. Let's talk about some of the depth that we have coming back. Let's start with the mystery, the project of all projects, Giovanni Manu. Giovanni Manu is by far he's just that project that people hate that Brad Holmes drafts. This dude like 350 pounds. Like he's raw clay in there trying to mold it, but it's hard to do that when you keep getting hurt. He's a huge guy. He's incredibly raw. He's injury prone. 2026 training camp is his do or die moment. He has to follow through on that particular training camp, because if he can't show that he can at least be Taylor Decker. Taylor Decker. He needs to show that he can at least be Dan Skipper. Otherwise, he needs to go. He needs to get cut. He's 25. He's going to be 25 next year. And at the end of the day, man, like we see you work out with Taylor Decker. We see you have ups and downs in preseasons, but you need to be doing the work year round to get to the level where we can trust you on the island. We can trust you to fill in for a game. We can trust you to be the sixth offensive lineman. We can trust you. We cannot trust Giovanni Manu right now. As far as I'm concerned, I'm almost all the way giving up on this man, because as big as he is, he doesn't play with aggressiveness. He doesn't his pass blocking technique is so off. To me, this is the NFL. It's not as much development as people think that is occurring. And for me, I'm giving him an F plus. And the only reason I'm giving him the plus is because I see what they saw. He's huge. He's huge. He looks like if at any point in time he could just have a little bit of technique. A little bit. He has the size, he has the athleticism, but if you don't know how to use your hands as an offensive lineman, you have lost. If you can't use your hands and your feet at the same time, you have lost. And sometimes, no matter how great the clay is, if you can't mold it and it just sets into something ugly, it's time to get rid of it. I need to get Giovanni Manu out of here if he can't show me something in preseason of 2026. Next, and I believe this is the last one, is Miles Frazier. 25 years old. He has good size. He has he has pretty good technique, good awareness. One of the things I realized when he did get in the game is that if he's combo blocking somebody, he's very aware. He's almost looking out of the side of his visor to make sure that nobody is going to try to blitz in, and he just doesn't allow that that linebacker to just blitz in, and get that easy run to the quarterback. It's never easy. But the thing is, he hasn't had a lot of snaps. He hasn't he hasn't been healthy. He just got healthy. He hasn't had a lot of snaps. And he has to clean up his pre-snap penalties, or he just won't be on the field. I truly believe that he should have a full-on competition for that left guard spot, because to me, there's no reason why Christian Mahogany shouldn't have to compete for that spot. And I would let both of them know, hey, you come in ready, because either one of y'all could be starting, or somebody that's not here. Y'all will be playing for a spot on this team. We cannot have the same level of interior dysfunction as we did this year. It's impossible for us to be a playoff team that way. So with Miles, I can't even really give him a grade. I think he had less than 100 snaps this year. 20. He'll be 25 next year, and I believe that he should get like real consideration for taking the starting spot. I need to see him in preseason. I need to see him basically everywhere. Like I want to see him on preseason. I want to see the training camp clips. I'ma be in the building trying to figure out what's going on, if possible. I'm be watching everything. All right. As far as the notable O-line free agents, these are the only people y'all would probably know. Awasika, whatever. He's been around when he's been on the field. He isn't getting destroyed. But at the end of the day, man, to be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Awasika was better than Christian Mahogany. I felt like our offensive line was better when Mahogany wasn't on it. I know I might be. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it seemed like as soon as Mahogany got going, all of a sudden we could block. Just saying. Tristan Cologne, not a fan, but it is what it is. Um, and then Dan Skipper, to me, he's like a Lions. To me, Dan Skipper is a Lions. He's like a Lions mascot. He's not really a player on this team. It seems like anytime we need to depend on Dan Skipper, we have essentially lost the game. And that is all for the Detroit Lions offensive line breakdown. Just give me your thoughts. Were my grades too harsh? Were my grades just right for our offensive line? Is there anything that you would add or anything that you would see? I'm gonna clip in some highlights for a lot of the talking points that I had, but at the end of the day, whether it's game day, draft day, or any day in between, it's Lions Live 365. Please like and subscribe. Peace out.